Okay, I'm going to get started only because depending on how many questions, there could be jam-packed. But I'm going to try to save a lot of room for questions at the end, and I'll try to address the questions that folks had along the way because some of them were definitely similar to each other. So excited to have everyone here and excited to see a few current customers on the phone too. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Clade Dahlia webinar. So excited to answer a lot of your questions and dive in. If you're wondering who the heck am I, I'm right there. I'm Holly. That's Joe, who will be jumping in, my husband, who's been building this with me. And those are our kids. Heather is 3, Clay is 1, and we're always busy around here. But my journey into dahlias started, I want to say 2018. I started growing dahlias quite a bit when we got our first home. And then for our 2020 wedding, I grew hundreds of dahlias. And then because it was COVID, we had a wedding again in 2022 and grew a ton of flowers for that. And then last year was the first year I started selling cut flowers locally into florists. So now I've taken it from a hobby to like a side hustle. And then in addition, we built Clade. And the origin of that is that back when I first was growing dahlias before kids, I kept a spreadsheet. I was meticulous about it. And then we had Heather, and I had no more time to figure it out. And I kind of just stopped tracking in 2021. And then when I was on maternity leave with Clay, I said, "Hey, Joe, you're a developer. Can you build me something that I can actually keep up with? Like, we should be able to do something better than just going back to a spreadsheet." And that was how Clade was born. We've been around for about a little over a year now, and we're really excited to keep growing. Actually, before I go to this, Joe, you want to like do an extra intro yourself?
Yeah. So, I'm a developer. That's what I do day to day. I work in big tech, working on software, AI related products, and so I've always kind of been a founder. There's a couple other companies and startups, if you will, that I've started, dating back to college, and so this is the one that I feel obviously very strongly about and feel very connected. We have a strong mission statement to help everybody within our community that we're also a part of. So, really proud of what we've built so far, and hopefully it's a small step in what's hopefully a very long journey in us kind of growing with this Dahlia community and serving that community that we very much love to be a part of.
Yeah, well said. And I did want to point out that our mission is to build software to help flower farmers grow smarter, not harder. You notice I said flower farmer because we are starting with dahlias. We're passionate about dahlias. But I don't know about all of you, but I grow a lot of other things too. So our goal is eventually to branch out once we nail dahlias to other lines so that we can get more folks tracking everything that they grow. But there's a lot to do with just dahlias, the prima donna of the flower world. So today it'll be all focused on dahlias. I want to address up front because I got a bunch of questions about our pricing. This is how it works. You can go through the full details on our website at useclade.com. There is a free version, which includes our suppliers tool, the catalog. You can track 20 varieties, test it out. You can have your wish list of dahlias you want to grow. There's a bunch of free tools we'll look at. Then at $5 a month, you can buy our basic tier, which includes 100 varieties. And this lets you really start to replace that spreadsheet. Then, and it also allows you to use our visualizer, which I'll show you later. At the standard tier, this is our most popular tier that most people purchase. It's $10 a month and it allows you to track 250 varieties. And then it has all of our modular pieces like dividing so that you can start to track more granularly. It's also where our bed planner is for folks who do bigger field planning. And then our top tier, our pro tier is 35 a month, meant for folks who need to do more advanced things like integrate Shopify, Squarespace, who do maybe hybridizing, some of the things that are deeper and higher end, and it has unlimited varieties to support that. So those are the tiers, and we're constantly pushing new updates. We pretty much develop every single day. So it's constantly growing and evolving, very much based on user feedback. We've been getting great feedback for a year that we've just been constantly implementing. So the rest of this presentation, I'm going to actually dive into the tool. I have a bunch of tabs open, not because I usually use Clade with this many tabs, but because that way I won't forget where I'm at. But I do want to point out this, what you're going to see today, this is absolutely my farm, Scout Hill Farm. You'll see everything that I've tracked personally. So yes, I've gone a little nuts on the number of varieties I have. So it's become quite the addiction. But I'm going to start out in the catalog. So one of those free tools that we've developed simply per request of the wider community. This has, if I unfilter this, over 58,000 varieties of dahlias. So tons of information. And for many of the top dahlias, we have information on height, bloom size, ADS information. You can see who the hybridizer was, when it was released, what country. So if you're on the hunt for New Zealand varieties, you can come in and here filter for that. And we've taken the top 500 most tracked by Clade users and made them into a popular list for anyone who just wants to shortcut to what people tend to grow most often. Another feature here I use an awful lot is favoriting things. So here is my wish list of items I would like to purchase. In fact, you can see I finally got Bloomquist Sue at a sale the other day. So now that it's in my inventory, I'm going to actually take it off my favorites list so I don't have to hunt for it anymore. But this really helps me stay focused. When I have a Dahlia sale open on one tab, I have this open. I used to keep this in my notes app and it was a huge pain. So this is a lot easier to really see what I'm tracking at any given time. And then the last feature is actually our newest feature here, which is we created a beta of these Dahlia pages. And what they are is pages that have information, all kinds of details about the Dahlia. And then it has listings of where you can purchase and which ones are open versus closed and state in case you want to purchase more locally. I know when in doubt, I try to purchase from the Northeast because that's where we are. And then let me find one that's a little more popular. How about let's try this one. So now you can start to see on this variety, there are two Clade users who have this in their inventory, Flora, and then this is my own farm. We've opted in to be listed here so that we can actually pull price and whether the store is open and whether it's sold out. So you can start to see a lot more granular information. So this is in beta now. We have some farms opted in and we'll continue to add this. And if you start tracking your inventory in Clade and you want to be added here, just let us know and we'll opt you in. Now, the other half of this, probably a lot of you found me through this, is suppliers, because obviously it's buying season and a lot of you want to know what's open. So I've been trying to keep this as up to date as possible. Long term, farms are going to be able to come in and edit their own information so it's even more accurate. Thanks to everyone who's participated. If your farm's not on here, absolutely go to the upper right and add your farm. But you can see all the farms that are opening. There's been a lot over the last few days and next few weeks. And I find it really helpful to be able to use this to track. And then you can favorite, same thing, you can favorite your favorite ones so you can quickly go through since there are over 500 on the list. So those are some of the free tools. I'm going to dive in and show you what it looks like if I track a variety. So let's go ahead. Let's pretend like I have, oh, actually I do already have that. Let's find what I don't have.
And
Delicata.
by the way, if folks have questions, everyone's muted because this is a webinar, but feel free to use a chat feature in the Zoom here and we can get them answered in real time.
So there, I just added morning mist to my inventory. So I'm going to go to my inventory. And now I can see that 20th Avenue Morning Mist is in my inventory. Now, I wish I had it. I don't, so I can go ahead and delete it. But this is the main hub for your inventory. This is where I'm popping in all the time because it has all my varieties, all 1,100 in my Insanity. And you can go through your inventory and keep things up to date. Like I find it very helpful that when I import my inventory, I know what the purchase price is. So if I Divide 20th Avenue Baker Road. I know I bought it for 15. I'll probably want to sell it for 14, 15, right about at what I purchased it from. There are a lot of other fields in here that I'm not showing because I like to keep it simple as I'm using it. You can turn fields on and off as you go. So I haven't sold any tubers yet, so I have that field off. You can always turn it on to work on it, turn it back off. It's very configurable. This also works on mobile. Most of our users spend most of their time on mobile. So you can pull up Clade on your on any browser that you use on your phone and use it there as well. Now, one thing that I love to use here is our share feature. This allows me to share my inventory to anyone without a login, and I can decide which fields I want to share to, and there are ones that make more sense when you're showing for tubers, and then there are ones for cut flowers if you want to show this to florists in the summer. For example, this is my inventory filtered just by what I'll be selling in my upcoming sale. The awesome thing about this is I can share this link and it will continue to update. So I still have 10 more boxes of dahlias to divide, but those varieties will be updated as I add them. And then anyone can see here's what's coming in my upcoming sale. Now, you might be wondering when you first get into Clade, like that's great, Holly, you have all kinds of varieties, but how do you actually get this information in here? You can add them from the catalog. You can certainly, add them straight from here. I'll pick a random one. You'll see we often pre-populate the bloom size, height, and ADS information from our database. We had a stock photo for this one already. You can always add your own photos instead. Or what I do often is I import my new orders. So yesterday I splurged again. I bought 3 more dahlias and I haven't imported these yet, so we can do it together. So here's my order from Beverly Farm. And then I can go here. And now that I've saved it from my email, I can go to import it. You just save the order confirmation as a PDF. And then you can check to make sure these are all accurate. And then again, it pulls in whatever information. It pre-populates that it's from Beverly, how many, the price I paid for it, the years grown. And this has been the big game changer for me. This helps me keep my spreadsheet so much more up to date because as soon as I make a purchase, I just do this on my phone, usually lying in bed. I just save the PDF, pop over to Clade, AI import, and then it's in there. So now it's in there. If I went back out and looked for Mary's first, I can always add, more information if I have other information that I want to add, like notes or description. The last piece I'll point out here, I won't go through today, but at our $35 tier, you can sync this information to Shopify or Squarespace. We'll probably add other platforms in the future, but this saves a ton of time. If you have your inventory up to date and then you want to do a tuber sale, you can just sync. So when I load my inventory to Shopify for my sale, I'll use this feature so I don't have to retype all this information. I'm going to pause because I've been going for a little bit. Any questions in the chat, Joe, that we should answer?
No, I think it's been answered so far. But yes. Actually, yeah, Meredith just asked a question. Is a sync from Clade to Shopify or from Shopify to Clade? I can take this one. So it's a one-way sync at the moment, meaning from Clade, you're pushing information out to Shopify. So like if you click, so Holly doesn't have it here because her farm isn't integrated yet, but if you integrate, and that's an easy one-step process to do that, you'll see a button next to each variety to sync that over to Shopify or Squarespace, whichever shop that you use for your business. And it will get all the descriptions as well as the ADS information, the height, the bloom size, and other information that you kind of opt into over to your products listing. But we'll probably eventually work towards a two-way sync. The feature's in beta still, so we're still kind of refining some of the kinks around it. But yes, in our roadmap. And then Chrissy has a question, what exactly does it upload besides inventory number? I can ta take that one as well. Um, it will it will carry over your number of tubers that you're selling. So the number for sale column, as well as whatever custom descriptions you've written for that variety to say, oh, 28th Ave Delicata is one of my favorites. I got this from XYZ. And so if you care about that information getting over, it will sync over, as well as the default ADS info and the height and bloom size.
And I don't know if you said this, but the image.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. Well, I'll keep on. So again, inventory is the home. It has the main details of all the varieties. And you can archive varieties that you maybe don't grow anymore, but you want that information for the future. I often lose a variety and then come back to it. Orange Globe has been my biggest example. Those tubers do not store well for me. So I archived it for this year. I'll probably give in and buy it again at some point because I like it. And I can just unarchive that variety, but at least it gets the archived ones out of my way. And now I want to go over to dividing. That is what I'm still doing. I don't know if anyone's not dividing, but I'm continue to divide. So I'm spending a lot of time in here in particular. And I actually divided something earlier that I didn't put in at the moment so that we can do this together. So I divided Lakeland Autumn. And you could track where you planted it last year. This would have come over if I had indicated where I planted it last year, but I'll put this here. And then I divided one clump for now, and I got 6 viable tubers. I got, let's see, 1 B grade tuber, 1 unviable tuber, and I think I'm going to sell 4 and plant 2. And I stored this, let's see, in my DD box today, and I would give it 3 stars. It's stored really well. And then you can always take notes. So I sometimes put here, I don't have any notes on it, if it's skinny necks or anything like that that I need to make note of for my sale. And what this does, as I start to divide this, one, it's going to be really easy when I go back to pull inventory to see where I stored each variety. And then 2, there's some awesome reporting I get out of this. So now look at reporting. So a bunch of stuff. This is the main report. So I can see how many tubers I have total, how many I have to sell so far that I've indicated for sale. Based on that, how much potential revenue, my dream number right here. We'll see what happens. And then you can see what are your top revenue generators as far as number of tubers you have times how much you're selling them for, which tubers are priced the highest, what does your inventory look like by color, form, and size. You can see I kind of favor small dahlias that are formal decks. I guess I have an affinity for that, lots of light blends. You can see where you're buying most of your tubers from, and then as far as how many of each variety you have. I tend to grow 1 of each, so when I pull them out, I don't have huge amounts. And then in the dividing module, since we just inputted that information, I can see how many I've divided, how many I'm going to plant, what my non-viability. And then this has been really helpful because I can start to see which varieties are most prolific that have the most tubers per variety. And these are ones, if I really want to double down on selling tubers, I would do more of this versus some of these that were problematic. And same with storage scores. And then this calculates it based on how many were actually viable. Budapest Blush and RM Baby Girl were really productive for me this year, which is awesome. There is reporting for every single module. The more you use the modules, the better and more helpful the reporting is for you. Okay, going back, I'm going to jump a little to the calendar because it's almost a different type of reporting. So you have a calendar tool, you can put in your zip code and get weather integrated to it. You can see it's nice and frigid here, seven degrees right now. And then you can start to track. So I have the webinar today. I've started to track how many hours I'm spending dividing so I can really understand the ROI of the sale I'm about to do. In the summer, you can track fertilizing, maintenance, pest control, whatever you're doing. And the great thing is you're going to be able to see this year over year. So you know, where was my frost last year? When was it this year? How can I, track when I did pest control? When do I need to, weed again? All of those pieces you can track at that time or plan out as well. I'm going to pause again here. Wasn't sure I saw some things in the chat, whether there were other questions I should stop for.
There's one question about a tool to help figure out the layout in the garden, but I think you're demoing the planner tool afterwards, so I think we'll cover it there.
Correct. Yes, we definitely have that. Okay. Um, right before I get to that, I just want to go back and show you the other modules. So we have dividing, we have planting. So I don't think any of us are planting yet, unless you're really lucky where your zone is. But once you get to planting, you can indicate when you pulled them out of storage. I know I have certain tubers that take forever to wake up. And so over time, I can see here that I need to pull them out of storage sooner. You can indicate when they first sprouted to get some reporting on what sprouts quickly. I know I see that question a lot in the Dahlia forums. Same with when do you get your first blooms? There was a question recently, like what bloomed first? And I could come in and go, Arabian Night, Solman, like these bloomed really early in the year compared to others. You can track pinching and then some information about what's going on with virus and disease and all that. So lots of options here. And then cut flower. This is intended for people who sell stems. So if you want to track 3 harvests over the season and see on average how many stems are you getting per harvest, we have some great reporting so you can see the ROI of different varieties against each other. Considering I have 1,100 varieties to try out this year, I'm going to be using this heavily so that next year I can narrow it down quite a bit just to the most productive of each type that I want to sell. And then the last one here I'll just touch on is cuttings. I don't personally do a lot of cuttings, but for those who do a lot of cuttings, you can really track multiple rounds of cuttings. So if I want to, I can track up to 6 rounds of cuttings and understand how many cuttings I'm taking, what that looks like. And this also helps if you want to sell cuttings as well. And that's it for the modules. I'll come back to hybridizing at the very end. I'm going to jump to the visualizer next, but was there another question, Joe, in the chat that I should?
Yeah, there's one. Christy has an Excel spreadsheet, 550 varieties, and asking whether there's an easy way to import that.
Yeah, I can show that. So on import, I was in the PDF section, but you can import from CSV. You can download a sample CSV to see what the headers are. But this is what I did originally when I started. I started with the spreadsheet I had been tracking a few years ago to at least get a good starting point, and then switched over. But you absolutely can, and we're always happy to help you with that if you're not terribly familiar with CSVs. Anything to add, Joe?
Yeah. Please feel free to, book time with us, and we can always help you on board with that. And then there's another question related to if you upload all your purchases, can you filter your inventory list by the purchases?
By what purchases?
If you upload all your purchases. And so, I mean, I could take that one, Kelly. When you do the AI import, it will auto import where that PDF or ordered confirmation came from, whether it's Swan Island or Microflower Farm. And so because we tagged that, you can filter it with an inventory here with the suppliers filter that Holly's showing here. So that is the filtering method. And then there's a question from Amy, does the software support offline mode because our growing area doesn't have good service?
Are you going to answer that?
Yeah. So right now you do need internet. So yeah, if you don't have internet, because just like every other app, we pull data from the internet. You'll need a connection. It's not a whole lot of data unless you're looking at images. So even if you're on like 5G, which really isn't 5G, and not as fast, it should work. The only thing that might kind of struggle if you don't have a great connection would be like your picture upload. Like your iPhone picture could be up to like 10 megabytes, and so it will struggle with that. But other than that, the basic data entry really doesn't require a whole lot of internet speed.
Okay. Great. Moving on to the more visual aspects. So we've kind of been talking about tracking, but we have a tool. I posted this, so some of you might have seen the basics of this on Facebook, but this is our visualizer, and it's really meant to be planning cards, or some people, will collage all of their dahlias into an image. That was the inspiration for this, but I think now people have taken it and it's blossomed into whatever they need it to be. So what you can do here by default is you can sort by any of these. So right now I have it sorted by color. It has all my whites at the top. You can see we default to line drawings of the ADS form if you don't have a picture, and I haven't uploaded any pictures. These are all the default Clade pictures. And then you can also sort by height, which I find really helpful to mostly to see my minis. So I grow some minis so I can put them in pots and I can really quickly see those separately. What you can do, if we go back to color, is you can also just look at the photos if you just want to be able to look through the photos. And those are just the defaults. You can customize this because you can drag and drop. So if I want to actually go ahead and just get certain varieties next to each other, you can start to drag and drop this around. I know some of our customers have spent a lot of time getting the perfect ombre because of course the light blends will group together and you may want to put them in a particular category if that's your purpose. And then what you can do is save this as a PDF. Um, I won't do that for now, but you can see this would be 124 pages because I have way too many dahlias. But I could print these out, take them over to Staples, get them laminated, cut them out if I want. That's what I did in the past with the fluorite planning cards. And some folks find that really helpful because it has height, bloom size, ADS form and size, and then ADS color in there. There's always lots of questions on this one, so I'm just not sure. Are there any questions on Visualizer? Okay. Then the next piece is for bed planning. So the visualizer isn't intended for bed planning. I suppose you probably could use this at our lower tiers that only have it, but the bed planner is a lot more robust. So the bed planner allows you to decide how many rows you want to plant, how many feet you want each row. This also supports metric, and then how many across you want to be planting for your dahlias. And then same thing, you can sort by color. That's what I've done here because I think I'll plant my field by color to make it easier to harvest this year. I regret not doing it, but I know some people want to do it alphabetical or by form. And then once you have it close to what you want, you can always drag and drop anything around. And then within a row, you can auto sort by height, which I highly recommend if you have a field that's directional. So if I wanted all of the tallest varieties on the left for some reason, I could go through here and sort by height. And that way I don't accidentally get any short dahlias in the middle of a large field. So the complexity here will depend on how many varieties you have. I have lots of ones and twosies. You can see it'd be a lot easier if I had like this where I have 22 of these cozy towns. And it's going to pull in whatever picture you have. If you don't have a picture, it'll default to the ADS color. And if you have no information, it'll be gray. Now, if you want, you can remove a particular dahlia. Let me see if I have a good example. Let me find a small itty bitty one. Yeah, Princess Nadine. I tend to put Princess Nadine in one of my ornamental beds because I don't find it to be a great cut flower. So I could just go ahead and remove and then move these over to where I wanted to, or even slot one else up. And then in the upper right here, you can see all the varieties. These pull from total for planting, not from your inventory number, because we want to make sure if you have some in inventory that you're only going to sell or trade or hold back, that it's not going to count here. And you can add or place them here. Let's find, I don't know where the one is that I didn't place. I think they're all placed right now, but you can place them if they're not. That's the bed planner. I will caveat that this is going to get a good amount of overhaul in the next month or so. So if you join Clade and you want a bed plan and it's not pressing, you may want to wait a little bit because there's a few features that customers have asked for that we'll add in before majority of folks get to bed planning again this year. I'll pause for questions. Any in the chat, Joe? Are we good?
No, no. I can probably unmute everybody and see if folks have questions. Let me just go ahead and allow people to unmute themselves.
Well,
So,
and while you do that, I'm going to go through the very last thing, which is hybridizing. So again, on our highest tier, um, don't laugh. These are my my dahlias that I hybridized that I started from seed last year. I don't think many of them are keepers, but I really enjoyed doing it. I don't think I'm ever going to become a big hybridizer. But this is an awesome tool if you do hybridize a bunch because you can track all of your seedlings by year. A lot of our customers don't track these until seedlings have made it through their first year. And you can track essentially lineage because you can look, you can track seed parent, pollen parent, and I have it hidden, but you can go back to grandparents and the system will learn over time. You know, if we know the parents of cafe au lait and then you use cafe au lait as a seed parent, we then know the grandparents. So there's some really cool lineage tracking we can do with this. We can track information on whether you're pollinating or collecting seed from anything you've hybridized, what the productivity is tuber wise, vase life, etc. Lots of notes. So this is really helpful and it's totally separate from your inventory. So if you have named dahlias, you keep them in your inventory and then hybridizing houses all of your seedlings. And then you can, you know, take pictures and track your seedlings separately. And that is it. I'm just gonna show everyone the wrap up and then we'll just chat questions. Oh, actually, you want to go over this, Joe?
yeah, I don't know if there's too much to say other than yeah, we've been lucky to have really happy customers. Some I think I saw uh, maybe Melissa and Mona in the call earlier. So, thank you guys for, being with us since day one. But yeah, we have a pretty decently sized customer base across our tiers, not just with hobbyist growers, which would be, most of the audience here, I would think. But, micro growers, as well as some, truly like macro growers that everybody here would know. And so, all that to say, we're really trying to make sure that we don't necessarily just serve one niche within the community, but then, if you're anything from just like a serious hobbyist and have, maybe like 50 variety or even less sometimes, up to, I think one of our customers has well over 1,000 varieties now. And so, we're really trying to cater to, every dahlia lover and grower. So just some testimonials here from some of our, customers.
Yeah, and I'll send this out. Folks can come take a read, but know that we take customer feedback very seriously, and that's probably the best part of the job has been working with, all those farms you saw on the last slide. The last thing I'll put up here is we did create a code for everyone who joined this webinar or signed up, and we'll send this out. It's webinar 35, and it'll get you $35 off when you sign up for Clade. This will allow you to, if you want to try out that $35 tier for a month, you can try it out on us. You can cancel, Clade at any point if you do the monthly. So if you try it out for a month and it's too much, it's not your thing, absolutely go ahead and cancel. It's all self-serve. We whether or not you want to sign up for Clade, if you just want to follow along, join this Facebook group, Dahlia Software by Clade. We're constantly getting customer feedback in there talking about Clade and also any other tools folks might use that help them with their tech stack for growing. And I will email out this recording to everyone. I'm going to stop sharing in case anyone has any questions we can chat about.
Yeah, I just gave everybody the ability to unmute, so everybody's muted by default just because it was a webinar setup. But yes, please feel free to unmute and ask questions. Questions are very much welcome. We saved enough time, more than enough time to answer questions. I know it's the first time that a lot of people are seeing the tools, so chances are pretty good that somebody else has the same question. So we'll take any questions now. Christy's asking name of the Facebook page for Clade. Let me go ahead and post that in the chat here. It's Dahlia Software by Clade. But let me share that link in here.
Yeah, Kayla, I'll pull up the pricing again since I went over that so close to the beginning. Let's get back here. Here's the pricing. Free tier includes suppliers, catalog wish lists, 20 varieties in the inventory to test it out. Basic includes 100 varieties and the visualizer that you guys saw. Standard includes most things and 250 varieties. So that includes bed planner, dividing, and then Pro, which includes absolutely everything, including the hybridizing and the Shopify and Squarespace integrations.
Meredith has a question. A lot of great tools and concepts. Where did the name Clade come from?
Yeah, I guess it kind of came from the fact that our youngest, Clay, was a baby when we started this, and we thought Clade was a little bit like built with clay. So that was the play on words. That and also we wanted to pick a name that was a little more agnostic, since, like I said, we don't want to stop at Dahlias. We want to build tools for all flower enthusiasts.
Yeah, we basically picked it because it kind of sounded cool. Uh, there's really no meaning other than it just kind of sounded like clay, and we liked the ring of it. So, uh, yeah,
Yeah. If you guys can tell, I named both my kids after botanical things because I'm obsessed.
some really good questions. Um, any other questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself too, or post that in the chat here. Kayla has a good question that's related. I've heard some people say Claude, so now we know Clade. Yes. Yeah, Claude is yeah, that's Anthropic's AI model that I use every single day. Spelled with a U just like that. So yes, CLADE, Clade is the proper pronunciation. Thank you for that questions. Let's see. I guess I'll ask a question. Any big features in plans for this year? What's upcoming? What's some of the vision around where we're going in the next year or so? Holly?
Sorry, I was answering a question. What was that?
Just what big features we have in plans,
Oh,
maybe for later this year, some of the vision around where we
yeah.
want to go.
Yeah. Okay. There's a few things I want to solve. One is labels. Now that I have myself in this pickle with 1,200 varieties, I want an easy way to print labels from Clade. So we're going to be experimenting with that. We're going to be overhauling quite a bit of the tool to be even easier on mobile. We've done parts of it. Like if you pull up the calendar on mobile, you'll see it's really awesome right now. Um, the other big thing is you can tell our software doesn't have a dashboard, like a home screen with kind of high level stuff. So we want to add that in as well. Um, I eventually want to get to the point where we can do suggested pricing for folks who are new and want to start selling tubers and want suggested pricing. Um, but honestly, I have a list about 100 lines long of customer feedback. So those are the ones that jump to top of mind. But um, we're definitely adding features constantly. And if you join the Facebook group, you'll notice I do a feature Friday every week. So every Friday I post a new feature there. I look forward to it all week. I'm like, Joe, what do you got for me? What are we going to do? So it keeps me accountable and we're always putting it there.
There's a question on pricing. I just posted the link. We have both monthly and annual pricing. The annual pricing tends to be cheaper, but the webinar 35 off essentially gives you a month free off of our Pro Tool. So yeah, hopefully that's enough for you to kind of give that a try, and then you can just cancel it immediately if you feel that's not worth the value. Jackson has a question. How do you do your how does your customer service work? Timeline of getting issues resolved or continued learning?
Yeah, so if you reach out either you can DM us on Facebook or um, you can post in the group, the Facebook group, or on the product itself, you can click this support and you can log a ticket. Either way, it comes to me, and we get on that within a day. Usually, it's in a few hours, and we're very responsive. So we'll get back to you ASAP. And then as far as resolving the issue, depends on how big the issue is, but Joe oftentimes fixes it that day.
I like to think we're way faster than yeah. We've just been having some issues with like power going down in EverSource, and I know they do their best, but sometimes it takes hours. So I think for us, if it's a small bug, usually I'll fix it right away. But yeah, customer issues and emails, we'll try to get to that immediately if possible. Um, so
Awesome. Well, if there aren't
really good questions. Yeah, I think yeah. Any more questions? Tessa has a question about if we'll have any more webinars.
Yeah, I think I definitely there was a lot of interest and there were a lot of people that couldn't join live that I'll send the recording to. So I'll probably grab a webinar that'll be very similar next month in case you have any flower friends that would like to participate or if you guys sign up and you have questions and you want to wait. So we'll do another one next month. And then if there are other topics like as you guys sign up and you're like, hey, I want to just let's just do 30 minutes on just bed planning and how different people do it. I'm always happy to do more. So send me your
Oh,
ideas.
and Mona has one on when will reviews of suppliers be added?
Yes, the review feature. So right now there's a column for supplier reviews that doesn't actually function yet. Joe and I have been thinking really hard on how to do supplier reviews in a way that's fair both to the purchaser and the supplier. We want to make sure it's verified. We have big plans around making sure they have to upload an order confirmation and log in and it to be very transparent and give suppliers the ability to respond. And to do that, we need to be able to connect suppliers to their profile so that, yeah, if someone goes and complains about Scout Hill not having a variety true to form, that I have an ability to respond publicly as well. So because of that infrastructure, our current goal is to have that live for the fall so that as folks purchase this year and have issues or things aren't true to form, etc., they can leave reviews going into next year's purchasing season. So that's the current plan because it is so complex to do it in a way that's fair to everyone. But we think it's important. We just want to do it right.
Hey guys, it's Melissa. I don't
Hey.
I don't have a question, but
Mhm.
because I'm always bugging you anyway. But what I do want to say is just from a user standpoint. I literally, Joe said I've been there since the beginning, and I really have since just the discussion phase of it. Um, and so has it been over a year? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say that as far as somebody brought up like issues and getting them resolved and customer service, I have not experienced and I have a couple of platforms that I use because of my flower farm. I have never experienced the level of one-on-one support that I get from Joe and Holly with any other platform. Like I could message them at 9 o'clock at night, and usually one of them may respond, if not then early the next morning. And they'll have if not a resolution to walk me through what I need to do, they'll say, okay, we're gonna put it on the list and we'll tackle it. I've come to them with wild things like labels that Holly was talking about. The labeling system that I use, she got excited about it and then wanted to know all the things. And so I am so excited, hopefully that can come true. But I came to her just this weekend with heirloom Dahlia dilemma and what can we do about this? Is that possible? So I just want to say what you put into Clade, you are going to get back 1,000 times over. Taking the time to put the data in is key. And I'm a spreadsheet nerd. So Joe was constantly saying, why are you still using spreadsheets? Why aren't you putting it into Clade? And it took him prying my fingers off of my Excel spreadsheets and putting the stuff into Clade. And I'm doing that now. And it's such a time saver for me, a huge time saver. So that's just my perspective of it. It's worth every single dime that I pay to them to free up my time to be out in the field. And by the way, the feature of, and they know I love this, taking the photo in the field and uploading it immediately and tying it to that cultivar is huge. I don't have to go back and swim through 1,000 photos and try to match it up with the particular bloom in Clade. I can do it automatically in the field in real time. So those are a few things that I love.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you,
thanks, Mom.
Melissa. Yeah, that really means a lot. And yeah, no, we haven't paid Melissa a dime to say that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
thank
I
you so
haven't.
much. Really, really appreciate that. And to that experience of like uploading stuff in the field, we're actually doing some technical migrations on our back end that will make that process even easier so that you can like more easily bulk upload all your photos if you just say, take like 5 to 10 and maybe even spoiler alert videos. We're trying to see if we can add support for video so that you can just take like a 2 to 3 second reel and then be able to upload that and store that for all your varieties, whatever seedlings you want to keep track of. So it's gonna get even better from where it is now.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Mona, and I'm another long time, excuse me, Clade user, day one. And I'm to the point where I'm using Clade exclusively now. I have no more spreadsheets, and I'm actually starting to sync my inventory to my website. And it's going to save so much time. It's still because I'm on Squarespace. We're working on a few things, but it's working really great. My pictures upload from Clade to my website faster than if I'm in my website and uploading a picture. So that's awesome. And it's just going to save so much time. I know a lot of people that have sales online, they have to password protect it or take their site down because they have to update all the inventories. And that's kind of what I do. All my inventory is out there, but it all says sold out because if it's not sold out, someone could purchase it. That's that whole Dahlia war thing going on. But being able to sync my inventory from Clade with my number of tubers for sale is going to sync within a minute to my website is just huge because it's going to save so much time. And then I can review my Clade and make sure my inventory, my number for sale is going to be right. And when I sync it, it's just going to update and be ready to go. So for those that are at that point where you actually have a website and you want to integrate, it's working really well, really well. So, but I love Clay, and
Well,
I was not paid to say any of that.
thanks, Mona. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited that you've been testing out the Squarespace piece and that you'll have your sale this week. And actually,
yeah, yes,
that'll be a great milestone.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, I want to respect everyone's time. I really appreciate it. I will send out the recording. And again, Joe and I are here message us on Facebook, email us, anything. We're available for questions. So we appreciate it. And thank you all. And if it's snowing where you are, like it is here, stay warm. Take care.